kaya mo bang gawin ang trabaho mo? Pag ganun po ang tanong, ibig sabihin nun, he means business. Ang sagot ko po ay, subukan natin, sir, kung kakayanin ka. Mahaba at kakaiba ang umpisa ng istorya ng ating tagapagsalita sa gabing ito. Alas 2 ng madaling araw, kasama namin siya, literally, physically, sa paghukay ng halaman sa harapan ng Department of Agrarian Reform Central Office. Ayun nga na makita na ang tanggapan ng pamahalaan ay nababalahura sa dami ng mga basura at iba-ibang mga nakalagay na infrastruktura. Sa loob ng 3 araw, gumanda ang harapan ng Department of Agrarian Reform. Hindi niya kami iniwan magdamag doon sa harapan ng Department of Agrarian Reform. At presto, pag pupunta kayo ngayon, maganda na po ang halaman. At simula ng araw na yon, wala na pong nagtangka na magtayo ng barong-barong natutubuan na ng patola, kalabasa at upo dahil sa tagal ng kanilang paghimpil sa lugar na yon. Nakilala ko po siya bilang isang tao na ang kahulugan ng serbisyo ay isang tunay at dalisay na paglilingkod. Nakilala ko siya bilang isang tao na trabaho lang, walang personalan. Nakasama ang ating pong kalihim, Atty. John Rualo Castriciones.
Maraming salamat, Yusek Rene Colocar. Diretso kasi, nung dumating ako sa Department of Agrarian Reform, si Rene, siya ang admin officer. At nakita ko sa kanya yung talagang motivation to work. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, Rene, siguro it's high time to pay back. Maging regional director ka ng Regional Board. At hindi ako nagkamali. He's doing well and he's performing well. Of course, first of all, I think this is the appropriate time for us to be happy. And therefore, there's no need for us to talk about a lot of our problems because we all know for a fact that in the department, we are faced with a lot of, well, challenges and other difficulties. But of course, that's a part of our job, considering that we have been given the honor of serving our farmers, which of course we all know are one of the heroes of our country. And because of that, I think it is but fitting that we also share of the burden of our farmers, and that is the reason why we have to work a lot. And aside from working a lot, sometimes we are not being compensated that much according to the output that we give. You know, as I hear the qualifications of the newly promoted employees of the department, I'm really humbled. Can you imagine most of them, if not all, have been working for the past 28 years, 29 years, 30 years, etc., etc. Except, of course, for the newly promoted employees of the department. Don't you worry, you will have your time. You will stay for another 30 years probably. So you will suffer the same fate. No. I mean, you will enjoy the same fate because they have been given the opportunity to serve our country. Okay, so I'd like to acknowledge all the officers who are present tonight who have been instrumental in delivering the success of the department in the outputs that we have. First of all, I'd like to make mention of Yusek Homer Tobias, who is a very competent secretary. And of course, I'd like to acknowledge also, as I said, Director Rene Colocar, who is here, the head of the region, Assistant Regional Director Presi, we have the different paros. Of course, before anything else, I'd like to acknowledge also Director Marvin Bernal, the legal department, and then the different paros of the different provinces. Let me see now if I still recall all their names. Let's start with the Batangas. Of course, Berly Manalo. And we have from Laguna, Beth Villapando. For Quezon 1, of course, we have Paro Santayana, Celestina, okay, Tina. And then for Quezon 2, we have Oni Villapando. For Cavite, James Dubungo. For Rizal, we have Mr. Oni Bello. I mean, Saturnino Bello. Sino-joke ko lang siya, sino-joke ko lang. Si Nonong, di ba? Nonong Bello. Did I leave out anyone? Wala na. All provinces have already been mentioned. Of course, we have the Rarad, si Attorney De La Rea, and then the Chief Legal, si Tixie Maristela, and sino pa ba? And many more. Oh, yeah. Because it would be difficult to name all of you, but of course I know most of you because I'm sure that it's either you are notorious of being very competent or notorious of being very incompetent. No, I'm just joking. Most of you here are really very competent. And that is the reason why I'm very happy because, you know, Region 4A is already a lowland area. Aside from Quezon 2, of course, that is the jurisdiction of Oni Villapando. But in spite of being a lowland area, you're still delivering much. As of now, I'm aware that you have already accomplished around 300%. Is that right, Rene? 300% of the privately acquired lands. And now you are making a commitment that you're going to deliver another 7,500 in government-owned lands. So I'd like to give you an applause, but you have to help me. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. You know, today, it's true what you said, Tobias has said, that I was actually very busy this day. I had a signing of a MOA, a Memorandum of Agreement with Land Bank for our Afford ARB. I'm sure that you're aware of the Afford ARB. This was the project or the program which was first called the ASLP, di ba? Accessible Sustainable Livelihood Program under Land Bank. But now it's renamed to be Afford ARB, wherein we are going to give loans to our small farmers at a very low rate of interest. I think it's around 6% per annum, and that's quite good for our small farmers. And we are very happy, and I am personally very happy because this is a fruition of what the President has been saying all along, that we have to enhance our farmers' capability and opportunity to uplift their economic lives through financial help and assistance. That's number one. Number two, I was supposed to be in Dinagat Island today in order to attend to the distribution of the Certificate of Land Ownership Awards. But of course, I was not able to go there because I preferred to come here in Region 4A. May kasamang bola po yun. But of course, because of some events beyond my control, I preferred to stay in order to attend the Land Bank activity and at the same time your activity tonight. You know, this activity is actually the empowerment of our employees. Empowerment in the sense that we give them due recognition. You know, when I came in way back December 2017, I was faced with so many problems that have confronted our department. I was wondering why the President brought me here. Probably when I saw first the facade of the Department of Agrarian Reform in Quezon City. The administrative officer then was Rene Colocar. And when I came in, I saw that there were so many of our farmers encamped in front of the Department of Agrarian Reform. And so I was a bit worried. I was saying to myself, probably the President brought me here because he wanted me to suffer. Aside from that, when I came in, I was faced with another problem and another dilemma. Why? Because I think you had a failed rationalization plan, which was way back 2013, wherein the program that you have actually accomplished was actually rejected by the civil service. And this entailed the going back to the former positions of those who were already promoted. And because of that, we have to come up with another proposal. It's either to pursue a case for the appeal of the decision of civil service or to come up with another program in order to choose, again, new sets of officers coming from your ranks to be promoted in 2017. Of course, the rest is history. By now, we have already promoted around 1,000 Department of Agrarian Reform employees and officials, and we have 2,000 more positions to fill up. And that means that probably most of you, or many among you here who are present tonight, will also be promoted because we are looking for an additional 2,000 people to promote. Would you like to be promoted? Yes. If that's the case, then you must have to prove yourself that you are worthy of the promotion that will be given to you. Secondly, aside from that, we have a project right now which we call the split. And this is actually basically the parcelization of collective CLOAS. And because of this, we have to enhance the power of the department so that we will be able to comply in the parcelization of at least 1.4 million hectares of land which were previously awarded in the form of collective CLOAS. In order to accomplish this, we have to have resources. One, we have to have the financial resource. I just recently attended an ICC cabinet meeting in the Department of Finance, and we were given the nod, meaning to say that they have approved of it, and that's the reason why World Bank is now here in the Philippines, going around in order to verify the manifestations that we have made and also the representations that we have made, whether or not they would have to approve or they would have to give in the 27 billion pesos that we need in order to accomplish the split program. Now, in doing so, we will also be hiring an additional 4,000 personnel in order to accomplish the split program. So aside from the 2,000 vacancies that we have to fill up, we have an additional 4,000 manpower to employ so that we will be able to comply with the split program. So we have a lot of people to be hired. We need a lot of people to be hired so that we will be able to comply with our split program. And of course, this will also be connected to our program, or I mean to our GOL targets. And of course, the privately acquired lands. You know, the President has said and has mentioned time and again that he wanted us to finish our land targets by 2022. Which means that we have around, if I'm not mistaken, we have around 500 plus thousand hectares of land, of privately acquired lands that we need to process. But out of these 500,000 plus, we have around 380,000, which is actually doable, right? Yusek Homer?
320,000.
320,000, which is actually doable under the privately acquired lands. Now, when it comes to the GOL, we have a target of around 140,000 plus hectares. And then with regards to the parcelization of collective CLOAS, we have around 1.4 million hectares. So we have a lot of work to do. And I hope that we will really work together as a team so that we will be able to accomplish the project. Now, many amongst us have a mistaken notion that if we are able to finish our land target, then that will be the end of the Department of Agrarian Reform. Do you believe that? No. I don't think so, because we were it is very specific under Republic Act 6657 and Republic Act 9700 that even if the land process has already been completed, we will continue to exist because we still have that support program to comply with so that we will be able to help our small farmers. And secondly, we have to put it in our minds that actually under Article 13 of the new Constitution, and I mean the 1987 Constitution under the social justice provision of the Constitution, it clearly states that the program will have to continue so that we will be able to uplift the economic lives of our farmers. And that provision is a constitutional provision, which means that it cannot be set aside by the passage of a law, just a mere law by Congress, but it has to be a new constitution if they wanted to put an end to the existence of our department. But of course, these are all what we call legal evaluation of how we will be able to put to an end the so-called concept of the existence of the department. There are different school of thoughts. I'm just mentioning to one of those school of thoughts. But others are saying that it is possible to put an end to this and probably create a new department in order to accomplish the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. Or we might come up with a new program, which is the phase 2 of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. But let us not be worried. Why? Because whatever happens, they cannot just set aside people who are competent enough to accomplish the job and who are still competent enough to do more jobs in order to uplift the lives of our farmers. So what I'm saying is, for as long as we can show to them that the department is actually competent, then we will be able to contribute to the development of our country, and therefore it would be a waste of resources, waste of manpower if they will just set aside all the very competent and technical people of the Department of Agrarian Reform. So let us not worry about it. What is important is we should still continue with our work, and let us try to finish the goal that we have set so that we will be able to achieve what our department has set for ourselves and for our farmers. Well, I don't want to be a killjoy talking much about the programs that we have tonight. I think this is a night for celebration. So it is much better if I keep my mouth shut now because I'm sure that you are expecting that there should be a lot of presentations to be shown here in front so that all of us will be happy tonight, because most of you came from the different parts of the region, di ba? Batangas, Rizal, Laguna, can you imagine? And you know, I am so happy because this region is one of the most organized region in the whole Philippines. And I can see that there is a lot of cooperation amongst you. Huh? And I think your objective is set because you have good leaders who have motivated you so much so that you will be able to accomplish the job. And with all your commitments that you are going to deliver 750,000, tama ba yan? I'm just joking, 7,500 hectares of government-owned lands. I am very happy, really happy, because that means that we will be able to meet our objective and our target, and that means that you are actually contributing to the excellence of the department. So I congratulate each and every one of you, and I'm praying to God that we may all be inspired so that we will be able to deliver the task that we have set to do. There's always a saying, and I am always a believer of the saying, that in unity there is strength. And because you are united here in Region 4, I'm sure that you will be successful under the leadership of your Regional Director, Rene Colapan. Congratulations! And let us enjoy the night. Let's party!
Thank you very much, our dear Secretary, for that